In this video, I will show you how to create lookups between related tables to help make data entry a little bit more efficient and to make our data a little bit more informative potentially to look at. So in this database, we have the boat sales table. And the boat sale is linked to a customer by their ID number and a boat type by their ID number. And so all we're seeing in this field is that primary key field. And when we go to enter a new purchase, I may not remember what the boat type is, or I may not know what the customer ID number is. So a lookup is going to make that data entry more efficient. I'm going to close this table, and to create a lookup, you work from the design of the table. And I'm going to get an error message here, but I'm going to show you that because it often happens. So I'm going to start out. For customer ID, it's using a number data type right now because in the customers table, customer ID is an auto number. And so when we have an auto number on one end of a relationship, we have to use a number data type on the other end of the relationship. So for customer ID, what I want to do is run the Lookup Wizard. And the Lookup Wizard is going to help basically create a relationship and a drop-down box that makes the data more user-friendly to retrieve. And so when I go to do this, it says you can't change the data type or field size of this field. It is a part of one or more relationships. If you want to change the data type of this field, first delete its relationship in the relationships window. Okay, so that's what we actually have to do. Is I'm going to go to Database Tools, Relationships, and I have to delete the relationship before I can change the data type. Whoops, and I have to close this table before I can do that. So I'm going to delete both of these relationships because I'm going to create lookups for both of them. Now, back to the design of the boat sales table, and in customer ID, I'm going to run the Lookup Wizard. So it says the wizard creates a lookup field which displays a list of values you can choose from. So I want the lookup field to get the values from another table or query. So the table that I want it to draw its values from is the customers table. So I choose the customers table. And you can decide what fields you want in your lookup field, which essentially is what fields you want in your drop-down box. So when we create a lookup, it's going to create two things, a relationship and a drop-down box. And so this is what's going to be displayed in our handy-dandy drop-down box. You can put the records in a certain sort order if you want to. This is totally up to you and what you think is appropriate for the situation. I'm just going to leave it in order of customer ID. Access likes to hide the primary key column. Personally, I often like to show the primary key column because it can be a descriptive field of the data. So again, that's your choice, and you want to choose just appropriately for the situation. This is what my drop-down box is going to contain, is what I'm seeing here. So if I needed to make changes or I wanted to add different fields, I could go back and do that. This is important. So it says when you select a row in the lookup field, you can store a value from that row in your database. What we're doing when we have related tables is we're using the ID field as a foreign key in the related table. And so basically in this step, you always want to choose the ID field. I'm going to finish. I could enable data integrity right now, which is referential integrity. I'm not going to. The multiple values is a no-no. This breaks database rules, and this is something that Access does, and it actually creates related tables behind the scenes. So what we're doing is we're creating and managing our own related tables. So please stay away from the multiple values checkbox. Do not use it. So it says the table must be saved before relationships can be created, and so I'm going to save that. And when I go into my table now, I have a drop-down box. So customer number 10 is Ria Reyes. And if I go to enter a new boat sale, I can choose the appropriate customer that purchased the boat from my drop-down. I'm going to now do the same thing for the boat type. So I'll close this table. When we're working with, or I could have gone straight to design view, but when we're working with the structure of tables, often we have to close them. We can't have them open while we're making design changes. So boat type ID, one more quick run through of this. I'm going to go quite quickly. I'm going to start the Lookup Wizard. I want to look up the values in another table. The table is the boat types table. In this case, I only have 2 fields, and that's why we often call these small tables lookup tables. I'm not going to choose a sort order this time, and that'll leave it sorted by ID by default. I'll hide the key column just for the sake of doing something different. And again, I'm going to leave the field name as the label and just finish and leave this screen with the defaults. And so again, now when I go to choose my boat type, I can choose from the drop-down box. And the nice thing about a lookup table like this is now it's actually displaying the name of the boat type rather than just displaying the ID number. And it sort of depends on the situation, but this can be a nice result of choosing to display the name and hiding the ID, and so it shows each boat type. When I go to my boat types table now, because I have related data, I see the plus sign in this column. And so if I want to see all the sailboats I sold, I can click the plus sign. And this is an example of how it's drawing the related data from the other table. So it knows that every boat type 1, no, sorry, I clicked 3. Every boat type 3 in the related boat sale table is listed here now. So it looks like there were, I don't know how many, but a number of sailboats that were sold, and we can see a little bit about that. So again, that's just an interface, something that the interface does for us, but it is sort of a result of having created our properly designed related tables.